Welcome to Feature Fridays. My name is Guy Bartram. I'm the Director of Product Marketing in our Cloud Services Business Unit, and I'm delighted today to be joined again by Sashi Bhatt. Sashi, for those who didn't see the last Feature Friday, can you just introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I am Sachi. I am Technical Product Manager focusing on developer-ready cloud products like Tanzu Portfolio, Container Service Extension, and App Launchpad.
Excellent. And today we're actually going to talk about Container Service Extension and the new version of Container Service Extension, version 3.1, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's dive into when did 3.1 come out? Let's just get a kind of an overview on that. Was it? Oh, it came out. That's right. It came out with VCD 10.3, didn't it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's dive into it then.
Yeah, sure. I have a couple of slides to share about the Container Service Extension updates, and then we can look at the demo.
Excellent.
Let me share my screen. So there are four more updates on Container Service Extension version 3.1. This release specifically focuses on providing easier experience for installation, greenfield installation. Mm-hmm. So first one is UI updates. I would like to talk about. When you are logged in as a cluster author or a tenant admin, you can now see all the Kubernetes clusters deployed through Container Service Extension on different VCD sites. So managing them through UI extension on VMware Cloud Director becomes easier in multi-site environment. Earlier, you had to navigate to each VCD cell to manage the lifecycle of the Kubernetes cluster. Now we can do it in one place.
And is that for sites where there's an existing site association between the VCD cells?
Yes, that is the prerequisite that the connection has to be established.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next one is now with new UI, you can perform a cluster upgrade also for native Kubernetes cluster as well as the Tanzu Kubernetes clusters. For Tanzu Kubernetes clusters, of course, you don't need Container Service Extension service to run, but for native clusters, for upgrade to work, the service has to be up and running. So the Container Service Extension service detects the upgrade version, identifies if the upgrade is available, and then you can just upgrade through UI. So now you don't have to log into service to upgrade a cluster.
And that used to be something that was API only, right?
Yes, it was API and CSE, CLI was available to perform single click upgrade. There are major enhancements in the installation process of Container Service Extension, especially if it's greenfield. So now we have started supporting MQTT for a couple of releases now. So we are dropping support for RabbitMQ, as well as we have improvised a process where when we are installing Container Service Extension, we don't really have to publish special rights bundles for CSE anymore. And that's like one step less when you are installing the process. So it's easier. And third one is we are dropping the requirement of specifying the API version. So CSE service will auto detect the API VCD API version. So starting from VCD version 10.3. So these are new install updates. And in CSE 3.1, we have new templates there that are being supported and some are being dropped. We can talk about the list and go over the list. Okay. And there is a new CLI there is a new CLI command introduced on CSE 3.1 is CSC share. So using the CLI command, now cluster author can share access to a Kubernetes cluster or manage access to that Kubernetes cluster with different user within the tenant organization. So these are
Okay.
the main enhancements for CSE. And
Sounds like there's been some really good like enhancements in usability and the ability, like you say, to do UI updates, to have visibility across multi-site, to be able to then delegate control of a cluster to another VCD user, and then obviously the kind of the install updates and templates. So it sounds like there's quite a lot here that's been included.
that is true.
Yeah.
So so these are the enhancements that we talked about earlier. API version, MQTT not is by default now, and write bundles, that's a UI operation on CSE and VCD. So that's one less step, and all this documentation is updated on the official Container Service Extension website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, the MQTT that's now come in line with VCD, right?
Yes.
And that's why that change is there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about some TKG enhancements in VCD 10.3. We remember that data center group was introduced in 10.2 release, and we also introduced network isolation for TKG clusters where providers didn't have to manage the network isolation rules. Now we are supporting that feature to data center groups. So TKG clusters can also follow the security posture and stretch network topology for TKG. So in this diagram, I've tried to showcase what it will look like. So in this example, we have a Kubernetes cluster deployed in one of the org VDCs of customer Alpha. And we can see that all the, so by design, if we have a, by design, we are going to block any communication from outside that org VDC Alpha, like for that customer org. So any communication that's outside from beta or any other customers, that will be blocked by design, and internal communication will be allowed within that data center group. Now provider has ability to go and create a distributed firewall rule to block access to the cluster from different org VDCs within that group. But the idea here is that the Kubernetes cluster will follow the security posture that is imposed by the data center group.
Yeah.
Also, this creates two kinds of rules. One is a SNAT rule on the edge gateway of the VCD group, because now we are not just part of a customer org. Now we are also part of a VDC org. So outbound decision will be like cluster outbound access will be done through the group gateway. And the other thing is any other traffic that's not coming from this group gateway needs to be blocked to the cluster. So these two rules are automated again, and any trigger that would change this topology, for example, deleting this namespace altogether or removing any org VDC that doesn't, for example, this R&D org VDC is going to be removed from this VDC group, then we don't need those additional access rules to the Kubernetes cluster on that edge gateway for this. So VCD will go ahead and manage those rules automatically, so provider doesn't have to do them.
Oh, that's brilliant. So basically, if you kind of remove a namespace, remove a cluster, or make changes to the org VDCs, which affect the data center group to do with the access to the cluster, then VCD will take care of those changes.
That is correct. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And
that makes things a bit easier.
Yep. And also in case of someone is tampering with the rules on NSXT directly, if we are refreshing the connection with VC from VCD, all these rules will be reset. So we don't have to worry about going and managing the rules or changing the rules on the fly.
So no worries if things are mistakenly deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, exactly. That's good to know.
Yep. And so these are the main enhancements that we talked about. Now we can dive into the demo for CSE enhancements.
Sure.
Let me give you a quick overview of the topology. I have a container service extension installed on my system. This is VCD 10.3. And my container service extension is installed, and I have 3 customer organizations. And I am, as a provider administrator, I can see all the Kubernetes clusters being deployed by all the customer organization. And right now, I have 1 cluster from organization 2. We can quickly navigate through different options here. So new will create a new Kubernetes cluster. Right now I have CSE native as a runtime. If I have a TKG enabled supervisor cluster on vSphere infrastructure and I have licensing in place, I would see another tile for a TKGS cluster. And to create a cluster, you can select the template versions. So these are all available when we are installing the CSE service. And these are for demo purpose, I'm going to select any version. If we have a, yeah.
So, sorry, Sashi, were these the new templates that were shipped?
Yeah, so earlier, so we have been updating support for each template, each release. So for CSE 3.1, these are the supported, all the supported templates.
Okay, great.
And
so it was org 1, I think.
Yeah, as a provider admin, I can see all the 3 org VDCs. Each tenant will see their own customer organization. And
I think I think you called it org 1 though. The let's check. There you go.
Thank you. All right. And now we can also add additional NFS node in case there is additional requirement for the storage. So this is quite powerful. And here we are going to specify and review all the details, and then we can submit a cluster creation request. Now we are also going to.
Is that new, Sashi, that NFS, remote NFS capability, or has that always been there?
No, I think it got introduced. I don't think it's this release. I think it was in last release.
Oh, okay, right. That is very useful.
Yeah. So right now I am right now logged into organization 2, and I have a Kubernetes cluster created, and we can see it's running at version 1.18. Now the upgrade check will happen when you click on the cluster.
Didn't we? Sorry, I'm confused now. I thought we created org one.
Yeah, so that is something, a recap to create a Kubernetes cluster. This is already created, so I'm going to show upgrade over here because
Okay.
cluster creation is going to take some time.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yeah. So we just reviewed quickly how to create a Kubernetes cluster, and now we'll see how to upgrade a cluster. So when you click on the cluster for first time, you can see if the upgrade is available or not. So when you click on upgrade, CSE server will identify the current components of the Kubernetes cluster and what are the available upgrades for this cluster. So we can select the plan and then just click on upgrade. So
that's great. So the cluster remains available while upgrading, so a tenant doesn't have to worry about any running applications in the background.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's really handy.
Yep. So once we click on upgrade, we can see the tasks and the status be changed from successful the running to upgrading process.
Right.
This operation will be also available for TKGS clusters. It's just that we don't need CSE service to be running over there. Now, if we don't have the service running for container service extension, we won't be able to perform upgrade like this because the backend is taking care of the upgrade process for the UI.
But you can upgrade a TKGS cluster from this UI. You just don't need the container service extension running.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the upgrade in UI plugin that is enabling that feature.
Yeah.
And now I would like to show this additional column called VDC to come back to the upgrade. This is a one-click process, and as you saw, we are not interrupting the running cluster.
Yeah.
So upgrade will be handled by CSE UI as well. Now let's quickly look at the multi-site view. On a high level, it will look like there will be an additional column called site in case there are multiple sites being managed by a single VCD cell. So from CSE UI on 10.3, we can manage all these clusters from multiple sites in one place. So let's talk about all the new enhancements that are available on CLI. So we had this CSE cluster apply. Now it also extends the support to TKGS clusters. So we can manage the config file of the cluster. We can resize, we can provide any additional custom configuration. For example, 3.0.2 version provided support for a routed network with NSXT. So it would use routed network IP internally for the cluster access, inbound access. So that configuration can be applied in the cluster apply command. And then you can easily create a sample of the file and just fill in the parameters in the file. So it's easier for any cluster author role who is going to manage that cluster.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other options. So these are just some of the available options over here. And the full documentation again is available on GitHub. And it talks through the example and provides a sample. The next new command that's introduced is CSC share, where you can share the access of the cluster to a different user within the tenant organization, as long as that user role is created in on the VCD.
On VCD, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have levels of sharing, or is it just full God privileges versus user? Okay, so this is access, and if it's full control, it's then things like the ability to update clusters and do cluster operations.
Yes.
Okay, but there's no granularity of the controls within that. It's just you can do everything, or you can just do read only.
Yeah, that is correct. Like,
yeah,
managing the life cycle of cluster, managing the configuration of the cluster, all those operations will be provided to the user.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And the last one I had was the template support. This is again documented on the official GitHub.
Mm-hmm.
And we can see we are dropping support for the oldest template on 1.17. So this is a usual normal process. The older 3 versions are supported. And one slide I wanted to talk about was about TKGM and CSE 3.1 native. So CSE 3.0.4, which is providing TKGMS runtime for VCD on-prem, will be supported for VCD version 10.2 only as of now. It is going to be supported as part of a roadmap, and CSE 3.1 version is supported starting the latest release 10.3. Now, using the API versions on the configuration file, you can run it in the backward compatibility mode with the older versions, but then some of the features of CSE 3.1 itself will not be available.
Sorry, that's CSE 3.1 with TKGM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
We cannot do TKGM with CSE 3.1 yet.
Right, because it's not supported in 10.3.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a part of roadmap. Both of them will be converged at one point, but they are not. They are a separate offering today. So you cannot run TKGM as a runtime with CSE 3.1.
And with just remind me, so I'm clear, Sashi, because I often get very confused. With CSE 3.1, we obviously can do TKGS, and you can do native Kubernetes. And what you've been showing so far through the demos was native Kubernetes, but TKGS is available out of the box with CSE. If you wanted to use it, you don't have to use it unless you want to use the UI for certain operations. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I got it.
Yeah. Now let's go back and see how the upgrade is going. So I'm back to my Kubernetes cluster, and we can see the upgrade is now succeeded. And we can see that since we haven't checked on the cluster, it says that the upgrade is not checked yet.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as we click on it, it will say that a new upgrade is available. So I think when we do the upgrade again, it will provide the next available.
Oh, so is okay. We must have selected a slightly older build then. Does it allow you to do jumps in upgrades, or do you have to do it in a version sort of a stepped order?
Yeah, it is going to provide whatever upgrade path is supported by design.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about it.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. So, and
so
then
this
whatever,
time, yes, and this time it's saying the cluster will be unavailable because now we're updating different components. That's what maybe is in this package, right? Docker and CNI. Yeah.
Yes. So whatever components are going to be updated, we will get the notification. So it's
That makes sense.
yep. And the other thing I wanted to show that resize operation of kubeconfig access, everything remains the same for the existing CSE offerings. So,
Cool.
yep, that's what I had to showcase today.
Thank you very much. And Sashi, it's been really good to see CSE coming on in 3.1 and actually aligning better, I think, with Cloud Director than it has done ever before, which is great. Well, like we say, we look forward to seeing TKG M back in there in a later version. But thank you for showing us around CSE 3.1. Great to see the improvements.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.